Hi, my name is Monte Tilgner with the Iowa High School Athletic Association. This will be a review of our semifinal games this past week and should be used to prepare for our championship games, which will be this Thursday and Friday. Congratulations to those crews that are working the championships and any crews that worked in the playoffs. We have 11 really good plays here, many of them that were officiated exactly how we would like, and a few that we can learn from, obviously. So let's go ahead and get started. First of all, we've got three offensive holding plays that we're going to take a look at. This first one is one that we would not want called, and I'll explain why. And the other two were correct calls. So remember, we want offensive holds to be huge always, but especially in these last games of the year. So really make it be where they meet all the criteria of what we want before we put a flag down. So in this first one here, you can see that I've highlighted the player that is going to be called for the hold. And my point is, this is the first point. I'll go back a little bit. This is the first point that we have restriction. Okay. Right now is the first point we have restriction. So if we really want to be great at calling offensive holds, make it a two-step process. So first step is we have enough restriction that, and at the point of attack, that it's a foul. Okay. Secondly, is once you have that, check the status of the ball. In this case, we have restriction. Okay. We're 5 yards away from the quarterback who is starting his forward motion to release the pass. So in this case, because of timing, we would not want a hold to be called. Now, if he took him all the way to the ground, then yes. But in this case, he does not. The player ends up tripping. But there is a grab and restrict, yes. But because of timing, we would not want a hold to be called. So as I continue here, you can see result of the play, and we bring back this on a hold that we would not want called. We're going to have two correct calls for offensive holding. This is a good grab and restrict at the point of attack. Give me this player right here called by our umpire. And you can see right there, if we go back, what we're looking for these holds, remember, is, sorry, I forgot, didn't pause at the right spot. We're good here. Okay, we're good here now. This player's trying to get off the block, and we get a really good shoulder dip right there. And this guy's feet are stuck. Okay, he's still restricting him, and this runner is not far at all from that player. So that is a hold we would want called. Good call by our umpire. Tossing that into a soft spot. That's good. Don't throw it at players. And just remember our 7-man mechanics. Really good job here by our field judge of not coming down inside the two. He knows that the line judge, he has the spot to the 2 yard line, and the field judge will have the spot inside the 2 yard line. And then this is excellent. This is exactly what we want when that ball is snapped inside the 15-yard line. We want to be at this back restraining line. So we have a really, really good depth here, and we're looking goal line extended there. So excellent mechanics as well. Okay, next one, a correct call for an offensive hold, grab and restrict. Then we're going to have a live ball UNS foul, unsportsmanlike conduct, for the player who was called for the hold, removing his helmet, and he does so really in disgust of himself, not complaining about the call. But let's talk about the penalty enforcement options here. So first of all, you can see here's the player that we're going to be looking at, and our umpire is the one who's going to make the call. So right there is where we get, again, we want to see restriction. So right there, we've got, he's turning this player, his shoulders totally around from where he wants to go. He wants to open up his shoulders and pursue this quarterback, and he's getting jerked and restricted back. So that is enough for a hold. Get a good call there again, tossing that flag into that general vicinity. Okay, now we're going to watch this player. He's going to take his helmet off. Now, here's my point. He does it really quick. He's not mad at us. He's not yelling at us. He takes it off, puts it right back on. I think we can make this a talk to. All right. If we don't and we put a flag down, we need to know what our penalty enforcement is. Okay. This is a live ball foul. Okay. He's going to take his helmet off right there. He's going to put it right back on. The ball's still live. This is a live ball, unsportsmanlike conduct foul. Okay. So going back here, remember, we got two live ball fouls by the same team, so only one of them can be enforced. It really doesn't matter which one we enforce in this case because the previous spot was the 10-yard line. So either foul will be a half the distance. And even if we decline the UNS, there's still going to be a counter placed on that player. So if he would get a second in sportsmanlike, he would be disqualified from the game. So three holds that to illustrate what we do and what we would not want called for offensive holding. Here we have a correct call for an illegal block in the back, and this is an interesting one. We've talked about not putting a flag down for a block in the back if it puts him into the tackle. This is a case where we would, and I'll explain why. So first of all, seven-man mechanics. This is a great job by our deep wing. The deep wing really is responsible for the action of this player, and there's a another player here, a defensive player here. So he would, that's kind of his initial responsibility, but he doesn't have any action there. So he comes off of that, doesn't officiate air, comes off of that, looks more to the inside, and he picks up this block in the back. Okay, so let's talk about the enforcement and if we would move our flag. So you can see there's the block in the back. Here comes our flag in right there. Okay, so our flag is there. So the basic spot on this running play is the end of the run, which is the 18-yard line. The foul is by the team in possession behind the basic spot at the 19. So we would need to move our flag to the 19-yard line, and we would enforce that block in the back 10 yards back from there, and we would be at position 1, and we would repeat the down. All right, next play. We've got a illegal blindside block that we miss on this one. And this just goes to show that there's sometimes when there's only one official who's going to be able to pick up this a foul. And this is one where this would have to be called by a referee, and this will just illustrate why. This is pre-snap. You can see where everyone's looking. We know that our deep wings have the outside guy, and our back judge has the tight end there on the strong side, and then we've got our two line of scrimmage officials responsible for the backs. So as we continue the play, you can see right now we've got all these players in pass routes. So this is where everyone's going to be looking right now as far as our five officials watching receivers. This is going to show now all seven officials. Okay, so our short wing is still on this man, our deep wing is still on this man, our back just still here, and our deep wing is here. Our short wing is responsible for this back who's coming out. Okay, that was his man. Our umpire's looking in at this backside action right here. He's got to be on this to see because we could have a blindside block right here. That would be a possibility. So our umpires need to stay backside. Good job of focusing backside. So our referee is the only one that's going to be on this action. This is a front side block on the run, but we have a quarterback who's scrambling. So we've got players in pass routes. So therefore, our line of scrimmage officials are going to be tied up with them. So this guy's going to come back and he's going to take out this player right there. Okay, you can see obvious blindside block, very forcible. Okay, so that is one we would want to be called. And again, that's one that's got to be seen by our referee in this case. And this is just one thing to think about. If we're pretty sure that we might have missed a big, especially a big personal foul like this, we're going to give the coach a lot of slack. He's probably going to be chewing our butt, and you know what? We deserve it. So if we have a good idea, we deserve it, then we're gonna let him go a little bit. One thing you can do is go over to the coach, say, Coach, you know what? I probably did miss it. I can't call what I didn't see. I'm sorry, I'll try to do better next time. And he's not going to be very happy, but hopefully you don't have to, flag him for an unsportsmanlike. So give him some slack. If we know we've got it coming, take it. That doesn't mean he can't cross the line, but we'd like to really not have to, flag a coach for UNS when there's a good chance that we missed something that we should have got. Not something you want to say very often. Hopefully, not more than once a game, if even close to once a game. But it might be one of those things that, once a year, twice a year is a line that you might use. So here's a great example of proper rules, knowledge, and mechanics for a forward fumble out of bounds. So first of all, we have third down. Remember, third down flow. Our H is releasing to the line to gain at the snap, which is what we want. Our line judge does not release as far as we'd want. You can see right there where he's at. So our line judge really should have already released. He should be at the line to gain, so he can be looking right down there if need be. And now he sees that that ball's past the line to gain, so he's going to trail it. Okay, ball's fumbled at the 32-yard line. And you can see our line of scrimmage official is going to do a great job. He's going to come up, drop a bag at the 32, continue to officiate. So really nice job at that point by that line of scrimmage official watching the players out of bounds. There's our bag. So we know forward fumble out of bounds. We're going to come back to that spot. And remember, since the ball then, became dead really in bounds, when we bring that forward fumble back in bounds to that spot, we are going to have the clock we're going to wind the clock. So the clock would be wound. Okay, two somewhat unique intentional grounding plays, both handled perfectly by the crew. So great job. That's what we would expect from the best officials that we have in the state. So here's one thing to think about, referees. As soon as you see this ball handed off, pitched, backward pass from whoever received the snap to a different player, in your mind, you should be thinking, he cannot legally ground this ball. By rule, he cannot legally ground this ball. So then when you see this, you just go to that yard line, see the result of the play, and when someone on the crew comes and says, "Hey, there was no receiver in the area," and they come to you and say and tell you that, then you know that you've got intentional grounding. Okay, so remember, in the area is 7 yards from the ball if they're coming back for the ball, 5 yards if they're not coming back to the ball. In this case, he's not coming back to the ball. This is our nearest receiver. He's not even close to 5 yards. That ball is going out of bounds here into the white. So announcements, we really challenge our referees to be great on the mic in the dome. So your announcement to make sure everyone understands, what they see the guy dump the ball like this all the time and it's legal. So why in this case is it not? So make an announcement so everyone understands it. Okay, so your announcement would be intentional grounding, offense number 7. He was not the player who originally took the snap, and thus by rule, he cannot legally ground the ball. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul and a loss of down, second down. If you do that, everyone's going to understand why this is intentional grounding when it looks very similar to other ones where they dump the ball when they're outside of the free blocking zone and the ball crosses the line of scrimmage. Okay, but that's a little unique part of that rule. So that explanation is going to help people understand it. Okay, another one, 752 exception. It is legal for a player positioned directly behind the snapper to conserve time by intentionally throwing the ball forward to the ground immediately after receiving the snap that has neither been muffed nor touched the ground. So this ball is going to touch the ground, but don't get too technical on this muff part. If he ends up securing possession after bobbling it, and that ball does not like hit another player or something like that, don't rule that bobble to be a muff. He did secure possession, so then that would not be considered, a muff. But in this case, the ball hits the ground pretty easily, so easy to call it. So you can see bad snap, ball's going to hit the ground, he picks it up and he snaps it. Okay, so again, make a great announcement explaining why, in this case, he cannot do that. Because if he caught that ball clean, even in the shotgun, he could legally snap the ball. So what's your announcement would be? Intentional grounding, offense number 4. By rule, the ball cannot be legally grounded after it hits the ground. 5-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Loss of down, third down. You announce that, everyone's going to understand what's going on. Okay, this is a rule I really hope gets changed, but uh, change it to illegal touching is what they should change it to. But for now, in Federation football, going out of bounds on your own and coming back by team A or K is a foul for illegal participation, and even if he doesn't touch the ball. So you can see what happens on this play. This player is going to go out of bounds on his own. Our back judge, great job of seeing this, and puts his hat down. The player then comes back inbounds, and then he ends up catching the ball. So he's got to process all this. Hat down when you see him go out of bounds. He comes back in. You're working on, getting that hat down. He catches the ball. And again, announcement, very important. So illegal participation, offense number 5. Player went out of bounds on his own, returned in bounds during the play. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, third down. Okay, next play. Quarterback gets hit while throwing the ball. Referees, this is yours. You need to own this. Okay, we don't want anyone else blowing this whistle. So he gets hit, ball comes out. You need to decide, was he in, did he have possession of the ball when his hands started going forward? If so, it's going to be a pass. And in this case, it was forward. So once all the action is cleared from your quarterback, just get on the O2O and say, hey, I've got a pass. You might not know if it was incomplete or not. Ask, was it incomplete or complete? When the crew says, nope, it was not completed, then if you need to, blow your whistle, make the announcement. The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass, second down. Again, we don't want our wing officials, umpire, anybody else making that judgment of if it was an incomplete forward pass. They don't know how that ball, if that ball was in possession when his arm started going forward or not. Only the referee knows that. Okay, punt mechanics and rules knowledge. Really interesting play here. Really good punt. So first thing, remember, pick up deep 3. Pick up the depth and direction of the ball coming off the foot, and then be 7 yards behind it. If it's fielded, if it's going to be hit the ground like this, try to be 10 yards behind it. Ball takes a big bounce back. We do a good job of hustling back. Now here's the ruling. Ruling on the field was the ball was possessed at the 2-yard line. So therefore, the ball is dead at that point, and it's not a fumble when the player tosses it backward because he thinks he's got to try to keep it out of the end zone. So ball's dead at the 2. Let's say, however, he touched it at the 2, but didn't possess it. Then we would have first touching, and if the ball ended up breaking the plane of the goal line, we would have a touchback. Okay. Continuing though, if the ball didn't break the plane and that ball is still rolling around, and this our player is well coached, he's going to go pick that baby up and he's going to run with it. So he picks it up and he runs with it. He gets to about the 25, gets hit and fumbles. Okay, K recovers, and then K returns it to about the 20. Remember, as long as there's not an accepted penalty by Team R can take the spot of the ball at the first touching spot. So they could come back after all this happened if we didn't have possession, picked up, ran, fumbled, recovered by K, ran to the 20 or score by K. They could take the ball at the 2-yard line because of that violation of first touching. So real interesting play. Guys were in perfect position to make a ruling. So that's our training tape. A lot of really good stuff. So guys that work in the finals, use this to help you out in your pregame, bring up some good things for discussion, and hopefully everyone has some good things that they can learn from this. Congratulations, and finish strong. And we will do our review with our semifinal and championship game crews in the coming weeks after the season. Otherwise, we will talk to you again next year.